wasn't ahead, it was Jeezy, right? He's starting to level off now, right? It's like his career in his latter years is starting to be a joke. I really like Snowfall. It was, more shorter, more concise, more cohesive, more to the point. I might forgive, but I don't forget. It was a little bit more long-winded, and it was grown Jeezy, right? But I feel like his legacy for some reason is not getting the credit it deserves. I feel like his legacy for some reason is being overlooked or overshadowed. I don't know if it was the verses with Gucci. I don't know if people just love Gucci and the artists that have come from him, that they don't look at Jeezy in that regard. I don't know what's going on with this young generation, but the fact that they can't recognize Big Snow, the fact they don't recognize, the fact they don't understand that Thug Motivation 101, that summer of 2005, I was a freshman. Me, JJ, Prince, Jeremiah, we was just going down the streets of Colonial Estates, Bellmead, Brad, we was just listening to it. I just remember that summer so vividly. Just that Air Forces, bottom of the map. I just remember that. And then what I remember it so vividly, it was such a movie, in my life. It was such a memorable moment, that album. And when I'm listening to it on the tiny desk and Jeezy's trying to get that crowd participation going, it seems like they don't know the words. It seems like they're not willing to participate. And I don't fault Jeezy for trying to grab some energy for the crowd so he can use it in his performance on the tiny desk, but I fault him because once he saw that it wasn't going as smoothly as he would like or as he would thought, he kept going back to it, and I felt like that kept interrupting his performance. I feel like that made his performance not as good as it could have been because there were some pauses, there were some quiet points, and he was expecting the audience to know the words, and the crowd participation was not there. They weren't present. They were absent, not in body, but in spirit, because who can hear Thug Motivation 101 and not recite the words? And then what? Standing ovation. These simple words, these simple lyrics. Jeezy wasn't a barsmith. Jeezy wasn't a lyrical miracle guy. Jeezy just talked that talk. And his words and his music was easy to get into because he simplified things. And I just feel bad for him. I feel bad for the generation after me, the Gen Z. I just feel bad that for some reason they were unaware or unable to quote those Jeezy lyrics. Those lyrics that have been so familiar in my teenage. Those lyrics that have been so familiar in the point of me becoming a man. Those lyrics that made me fall in love with hip hop. That made me fall in love with that Atlanta sound. That made me fall in love with trap. And it makes my heart ache. Right? It's just sickening. Because Jeezy's a legend, and he should be treated as a legend. I felt like when Scarface was there at the tiny desk, the energy was there. When Juvenile was rapping at the tiny desk, the energy was there. But when we talk about Jeezy, someone who had a crazy peak, someone who had a crazy career and legacy, and the energy just wasn't reciprocated, I feel bad for him. And I just feel old because I feel like, when somebody rapping something from Run DMC or Big Daddy Kane, or Slick Rick from back in the day, it's like they rapping it so vividly, so easily, like they remember that time back in the day. And I'm like, I don't remember this shit. Right? And the fact that I was rapping with Jeezy and he couldn't get the crowd, the audience to get in it, it hurt me. It damaged me. I felt old. I felt of age, you know? And I feel like people taking Jeezy career as a joke, right? I feel like I don't even think people was even gearing up for this Tiny Desk. I don't even think people was prepared. I don't think people was even excited or interested about this Tiny Desk because he was posting it. He was talking about it, but the energy wasn't there. And the fact that when he came and did the Tiny Desk, it just looked like the energy wasn't there. And like the respect that Jeezy has garnered over the years, it just felt like it's missing some way, somehow. And I don't know why. But you always give your legends your ear. You always give your legends your attention because if something happens to them, God forbid, if something were to go wrong, like we would dearly miss them and miss the ability of them to be able to put out new work, not just their old work. We would always want to hear from what they had to say on different topics, on different artists, and just the rap game that's going on right now. So Jeezy, you still got love from me, right? And I was